Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of A Chinese Torture Chamber Story, an exploitation comedy with some horror elements that earned a Category 3 rating. Now you know what that means. Lots of naughty violence and nudity on display. This was released in Hong Kong back in 1994. Now, this film is set in ancient China. Our protagonist is a beautiful young lady named Little Cabbage, who is a servant of a physician. Now, problems arise when the lecherous son of a local judge has an adulterous affair with the physician's wife, but they are discovered by Little Cabbage. So after some additional nefarious events take place, the physician's wife is afraid of being implicated in these events, so she instigates the judge's son to murder a man and frame Little Cabbage and the physician for the deed. Now, the pair are then put on trial and subjected to tortures to force them to confess their crime. Now, A Chinese Torture Chamber Story is quite difficult to describe, primarily because it's a hilarious sex comedy that has torture in it. Now, if you're squeamish about torture in your movies, you only have a little bit to worry about with this film. Now, overall, the torture is not mean-spirited, but it is slightly wince-worthy at times. Actually, the film opens with a torture scene that had me laughing hysterically within the opening 5 minutes, and it's probably the most graphic part of the entire film, so if you find yourself laughing early on, you'll be just fine. Now, despite the title, A Chinese Torture Chamber Story is a comedy first and foremost. And speaking of comedy, the sex scenes are also quite funny in this. At one point, this film chooses to spoof wuxia films, and it does so in glorious fashion. In fact, some people think that the wuxia scene is the single funniest moment in the entire film, and they may be correct in that assumption or that opinion. It's quite an amazing sequence. And that's only one example. I mean, there are plenty of other moments where A Chinese Torture Chamber Story uses sex to provoke laughter, but I'll let you discover those moments for yourself. Now, I've mentioned multiple times on this channel that sex comedies are not my favorite kind of film, but this movie is just so different from any other sex comedy you will ever see that it becomes an oddity that's instantly fascinating. Within the opening 5-10 minutes, I don't know how somebody could have any other choice than just being transfixed at what's happening on screen. I mean, even in terms of Category 3 comedies, this is, I think, in the upper echelon. And don't even attempt to find an American sex comedy that's remotely similar to this, because you're not going to find one. And that uniqueness is one of the big reasons I think you should seek this film out. But I feel like, I really shouldn't talk too much more about this film because I'll spoil the surprises, but I will say that some of the English subtitle translations are fantastic. Also, I will warn you that some of the scenes in this film are definitely going to offend some viewers. There are many instances where women are objectified and treated badly, only to then find themselves enjoying it. Then again, this is a Category 3 film, and Category 3 films are meant to be offensive. It's kind of the whole point that they're made. But with that said, I do feel like this film is a lot of fun to watch, depending on your sense of humor. But it's definitely, if you want to get into the Category 3 comedy type aspects of Hong Kong cinema, you gotta watch this one. So, A Chinese Torture Chamber Story is moderately available on DVD, but the prices are going up, so I think it's probably out of print or going out of print. And as always, we will see you next time.